What's up, fantasy football people? Welcome back to the fantasy football channel. We are the Schluter Bros. It is the end of July, and I think we all know what that means. Drafts are being scheduled. We are getting excited, and you are reminded of your love-hate relationship with all of your friends. Adam, sound the horn. Give me a skull clap. Today we are talking Vikings. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. How you doing?
Oh, couldn't get any better. I love it. We're back to the NFC North. We're headed to Minnesota, and we're talking about a real solid football team from last year. So this ought to be a good one, folks. Today we're going into a new segment, Guess Their ADP. After that, we're going on the NFL news. Always a lot going around in the first week of training camp. We're breaking down the Vikings. Most importantly, breaking down all of the fantasy relevant players on this Minnesota team. And then, of course, we'll finish with a coaching and O-line breakdown. So grab yourself an Aperol Spritz, a Skullberry Blueberry Wheat Ale, or a Purple Peter People Eater, and let's get it going. For those, that don't know, a Purple People Eater is vodka, blue caraco, sweet and sour mix, grenadine, and cranberry juice. So that's a little fruity concoction. They got those Purple People Eaters down there.
I'll take one of those for a draft.
Ain't that the truth? All right, Kyle. We're breaking into a new segment, Guess Their ADP. We're each going to pick 3 players for the other person, and that person has to guess their ADP and how close we can get. And this is for a 1 QB full PPR draft ADP. So that's what it's based off of. Play along, folks, in your minds. And Kyle, are you ready?
Okay, go ahead.
First one for you is Jacoby Myers. What is his ADP in PPR?
Oh, I'm going to say 95th.
Are you cheating over there?
No.
Your documents?
No.
All right, well, he is 96, so I don't like who started out on this.
It's close.
We're gonna need a screen check over there. That was really close. Well done, sir. All right, well done. Are you ready for the next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Someone we haven't talked about too much lately. Good old Wisconsin running back Jonathan Taylor.
He's got to be like 20th overall.
All right. I do think you are, in fact, cheating. He is 19.
I am not. ADP. I am not. I was one away again. That's sick.
That's well done. He's in the top 20, so I guess that's close enough. But very well done, sir. Very well done. I'm impressed so far.
Thank you.
All right. Last but not least, back to the wide receiver room. Courtland Sutton, who just got himself a bag.
Ooh. I don't know that one as well.
Good. Thank God.
We're going to go 78th.
All right, folks. He was not cheating. Courtland Sutton, 54.2 ADP overall, but well done, sir. I was very impressed with that. You did with Jacoby Myers, you did a very good job with that. That was the most impressive.
We did those guys, so I have a better idea on them.
Sure.
We haven't done Denver yet, so. All right, I was also impressed. We also just mocked, and I took Jonathan Taylor, and it was pretty close to 20.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
So that's how I got him.
Well done. Well done. I won't call you out.
Are you ready?
I'm ready for you.
All right, we got a Green Bay guy here, newbie, Matthew Golden. What you got for me?
Ooh, all these wide receivers are getting pushed down because there's so many mouths to feed. I'm going to say right around 70.
100.
Ooh,
right on the money.
They're getting put.
That's why I took it.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, they're getting pushed way down there. Okay,
right, well, I've already won this game, so
yeah, you did.
One pick was more off than all 3 of mine.
Yeah. Let's keep it rolling here, chump.
Next one, Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb. Ooh, he probably just got a boost recently with that news
I just went off whatever they had today.
Oh man, this is tough. I don't know if they factored in that news or not.
I'll give you a hint. It's late.
Let's say 120.
160.
Okay. Well, I'd put him closer to 120 now that he might get a lot more carries.
I can see him moving up with Mixon's injury. Yes.
If Mixon's going to be injured the whole year intermittently like the past, he could have a little bounce back. He looked good too. I saw some film on him. He looks like he's ready to go run some people over and piss Cleveland off.
Okay, a little hype train. All right.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I'll keep that one team name I have, Chubb Vengeance.
Absolutely.
All right. Last one for you, sir. Omarion Hampton, rookie, running back.
Rookie. Yeah. People are a little higher on him than me. I'm going to say 60.
45. That was your closest.
Well, that's tough. You pick mostly deep ones too, which helps your cause. But nonetheless, all right, I'll
Yes,
I'll
yes, I
take that.
did.
I'll take the fat L on that one. I
That was
do
a
like
domination over
I'll
here.
do like Amarians. That's good stuff.
All
Alrighty,
right.
folks, we're breaking into the news here, and there's quite a bit going on. We got training camp going on, all kinds of fun things out there. But first, since we talked about these two guys in our previous episode, Shamir Stewart did sign with the Bengals. They got him out there. I'm pretty sure his contract's fully guaranteed. So way to go, first rounder for the Bengals. And then also, today is Wednesday, July 30th. Trey Hendrickson is supposed to show up to camp today without a deal being done. So I guess what a team guy he is. We'll see if he does actually show up today. They're probably warming up right now. In other news, Isaiah Likely rolled his ankle for the Ravens. Could miss a few weeks. He's going to get an MRI done. So depending on how much ligament damage there's done or not, it may or may not impact the start of his season. And the last news that I'm going to talk about is the Vikings commented about Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, relevant to today. And the workload will be relatively equal, split. So we'll see how that pans out, but I do have some belief in that. And obviously, you know, if one kills it in the beginning of the season, they're going to get more volume. But Kyle, passing the mic to you.
Yeah, news I got for you. Jake Ferguson got paid. Dallas Cowboys tight end, 4-year, $52 million contract extension. Matt Stafford considered week to week with a sore back. I believe he's battled this sore back issue quite a bit in the past. So
Yep. Yep. He's an older guy. I gotta give him some icy hot.
yep, but he is missing camp right now. Joe Mixon is expected to be out for a period of time with a foot injury, and Justin Jefferson has a mild hamstring strain.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
That is
those can be a little nagging and lingering.
that is a
Granted, it is
lingering
very
one.
early. I mean, I just probably put him on ice for right now
Yeah,
and
I
let
do
that
not like
recovery.
that. Do not like that
So,
for a wide receiver who runs a deep ball and is fast as heck, but he'll
but
be all
makes
right.
me more confidently like CD Lamb over JJ this year in pretty much all formats.
Yeah, I will agree with that. We'll dive into that here shortly. Alrighty, folks, we're moving into the team overview. Okay, and we are going to the NFC North, the best division in football last year. The Vikings finished second in the division with a 14-3 record. That's right, 14-3, and they were second only to the Lions. And they had a phenomenal year. They blew past expectations. Mr. Darnold went off. He proved the haters wrong. Last year with Minnesota, the total offense was 12th overall, 346 yards per game, 45 total offensive touchdowns. Rushing rank 19th, 109 yards per game and 9 rushing touchdowns. Passing rank, brace yourselves, folks, 6th overall, 237 yards per game and 35 passing touchdowns. Thank you, Sam Darnold, and see you later, Sam Darnold. Alrighty, Kyle. The Vegas win-loss for Minnesota this year is 8.5, and now this is with terrible odds of minus 160. So 8.5 to 9.5 is kind of where they're at. But what do you think on that 8.5 over under?
I'll take a 9, so I'll take the over barely.
Okay, fair enough. I will add that their strength of schedule is the 5th hardest in the NFL this year. I would also take over. I'll take 9 as well, to be honest with you. Well, a lot of question marks on this team. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. Take us away, baby.
All right, let's talk about the fantasy relevant players. Starting off at QB, JJ McCarthy, projected QB 18. His current ADP is around 130 overall, and he is being projected for over 4,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 15 picks, and then another 200 yards with his legs and 2 rushing touchdowns. We never got to see this last year. He had a knee injury, rookie last year, and then Sam Darnold came in and obviously had this amazing career resurgence that I think is a one-time fluke performance.
Oh, shots fired. Shots fired.
Initial thoughts are this coaching staff, they seem to do wonders with quarterbacks, amazing talent around him on this team. So I think he's got all the chances in the world to be a great NFL quarterback. Why don't you talk about his collegiate career a bit, and then we can get back into the NFL for this year.
Yeah, first and foremost, I'm disappointed in Minnesota for letting Darnold go. I think that was a mistake on their part. We saw what having Justin Jefferson and Addison can do for any quarterback like Sam Darnold. I mean, he can make any okay or crappy quarterback look good. However, I am out on McCarthy this year until he proves it. And before I continue any further, I owe no disrespect to McCarthy. I hope he has a great season and a great career. However, there's some facts I got to point out here. The guy played at Michigan, okay? And in 2023 at Michigan, he threw for 2,900 yards and 22 touchdowns. That is not terrible, but it's not high volume at all for a quarterback, okay? So, yes, he had a good completion percentage that was over 70%, but this guy is not a baller, not a college free quarterback where he's throwing 400 yards a game. None of that, okay? Michigan had almost as much rushing yards as they did his passing yards. So that was very much a run-heavy first offense, and this guy has not had to take the load on his shoulders in terms of having to throw for 300 or 400 yards a game. He's never been in that spotlight. So I think it's going to be a hard transition for him in the NFL. He's also not a big rusher. And his college career, in 2023 in Michigan, 64 carries and 200 rushing yards. So it's basically non-existent. And then let's face some other facts here. He tore his meniscus over a year ago. This guy has not played live NFL snaps in over a year, and he's never played a regular NFL season. So the pressure on this cat to do well is massive. And he's unproven in the NFL level. Again, he wasn't an elite college guy, and I think the Vikings are a little bit idiotic for letting Darnold go. I would have paid Darnold a one-year deal just in case this guy needs a couple years to progress a little bit. With that said, he's got JJ and Addison to throw to, so I understand there's that going on, but there's a fat question mark here. I'm out on McCarthy until he proves it this year. And again, brother, no disrespect.
Okay, yeah, I mean you did him pretty dirty there, so I'm gonna lift.
It's
this
just
guy.
facts, just college facts.
I'll lift him up a little bit. So in his 3 years, I see a pass completion percentage of 67, over 6,000 yards, 49 touchdowns, and only 11 interceptions. So, and then he had 630 yards with his legs and 10 rushing touchdowns, and a really strong record, 27-1 as a starter. So, a little bit of like gaming, I would say Tom Brady-esque there with the winning percentage, etc. I mean, yes, it was a lot of running the ball, head coach strength, those types of things. And I see your point, but I do think, those are the positives to his college career. Let's go with that. He was a very high draft capital pick. I think he was like the 10th pick overall last year or something. And this is an offense that is just historically good at taking average quarterbacks or bad quarterbacks and making them perform.
Yeah, so with the weapons on the outside, or with weapons, I can see how they can do that, yes. But there's still just a fat question mark here. Fantasy purpose in a one-quarterback league, you're not happy to have him on your team at all. And I guess that begs the question, in a two-quarterback league, are you happy if he's your QB2?
I think he's a wild card, risky QB2. And in a two-quarterback league, if he was your QB2, I'd like to be confident with my QB3 just in case. Yep. But that's where I would have him as QB2-3 territory. I think there is quite a bit of upside actually in those formats for him. But you're right, in one quarterback league, I'm out on him. He'll be available in most formats. And I do see some regression here in the passing game for the Vikings this year. I think last year was kind of a complete outperformance in a lot of facts. So that's my feelings on him.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about this cat isn't anything about this cat. It is his two weapons in Jefferson, Addison, and then you can throw in Hockenson as well.
Aaron Jones is also a great receiving running back.
Yes, he is.
So it's a complete squad around him in the receiving game, in my opinion.
Yep. All right. Anything else to say on the QB situation?
No, I think we're excited to see what he can do. I mean, the rest of this team is really good. The players around them, they've done some work on their line. The defense is good. They have one of the best defensive coordinators in all of football. So they do have a hard schedule, though. So I can see some tough defenses being a real challenge for him. And I'm just expecting them to want to run a little bit more than in years past. And just some regression here overall in the passing game is what I'm seeing.
Yep, that sounds about right. Alrighty. Good luck to you, McCarthy. Prove me wrong and go get after it this year. Moving on. Diva time. One of the best divas in the NFL in Justin Jefferson. Last year finished as wide receiver 2 with Sam Darnold, and he is projected to finish Diva 2 this year as well. ADP 5th overall. Last year, JJ had 103 catches, 1,500 receiving yards, and 10 touchdowns. Just phenomenal numbers. This guy is an elite top 3 wide receiver every year for as long as he plays. He is amazing. But I do think he is a little overvalued here due to what I mentioned in McCarthy. I think JJ has a slight down year, and I'm not saying like an off year. I'm just saying a down year, not top 2, because of the quarterback position, because it's going to take a year or two for that quarterback to be at the NFL level and be NFL ready. So due to that, I think he's a little overvalued here at 2. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about Justin Jefferson. He's amazing. It's just due to the quarterback position and, having to work within that.
Okay, so is he still your third receiver off the board, or where do you have him?
He would still be in terms of the draft. He would still be 3. However, I think he finishes around top 5. I don't think he finishes at top 3. But just for his athleticism, how amazing of a player he is, he would be my third wide receiver off the board. Yes, but I think he finishes around 5. I think a couple other cats sneak in front of him. A potential Brian Thomas, a potential McConkey, a potential London. I think some of those guys could creep in just due to better quarterback play on those teams.
Yeah, I mean, last year we didn't have, we had Sam Darnold. We had a little bit of uncertainty at the quarterback position for him, and he just came in and decided he's quarterback proof, and that's kind of the famous line with him.
He is.
I drafted him in 1 or 2 leagues as in the first round, and questionable. Like, do I still want him in the first round? And he performed. So
yeah, of course.
He's no matter what, he's a first round receiver. I think any
100%.
format, and for me, he's still receiver 3. Granted, there is a little bit of uncertainty there, but I think with this coaching staff, I don't think you can put him any lower.
Okay, no, that's fair. I mean, is he quarterback proof? Yes, absolutely. Never a question about this guy, but a better quarterback would be nice.
For fantasy, you can certainly raise his upside, yes. And like I said, he had 10 touchdowns last year. And 150 targets. They're projecting him to have even more targets this year. I don't
175.
See that. I see a little bit of regression here, but I'm still confident enough in the player to want him as wide receiver 3.
Yeah. Why don't you take us away with his compadre?
Other side of the ball, or other side of the field, Jordan Addison over there projects as Diva 41, finished last year as wide receiver 18, current ADP around 80 overall. Mm-hmm. I had him in a dynasty format last year, and there was quite a bit of boom bust games, and he loses a little bit for PPR. However, last year he was a touchdown machine. He had 99 targets, 63 grabs, just shy of 900 yards, and 9 touchdowns, and another with his legs.
Yeah.
So he had some pretty big games and outperformed. They're obviously to be wide receiver 18 there. He's projected as 41, so there is
that begs the question. That's not a little bit. That is 23 spots back from where he finished last year, and he's entering his 3rd year. The guy should athletically and NFL-wise only get better. So this begs the question of why are they bringing him so far back in projections, and I think that leads right back to how we started this at the quarterback position. But that is a fat regression.
I think it's actually 3 things. I think it is going to be Hockenson, more involved in the offense and more touchdowns. He missed, I think, 7 or 8 games last year.
Yep.
And I think it is going to be a little bit of the quarterback play. And then I also think it's going to be a little bit of the strategy. I think they are going to try and want to run a little bit more to help that quarterback than in years past. It's not going to be as prolific through the air as how I see it this season. But I'm not going to put anything against that head coach over there, Kevin O'Connell, because the guy is a genius and he's done wonders with what he's had at that position and through the air. So I certainly wouldn't bet against him, but I'm just going to see a little bit of regression here. So I'm more in line with what ESPN has at a dip for him this year.
There's one other thing we forgot with his regression is he might get suspended for somewhere between 1 to 3 or 4 weeks. So that's also something they're probably taking into consideration. Yep. Look at that. That's wonderful. I mean, just to wrap that up with Addison, he's never been a big volume guy, right? He's never been a guy that's getting 100 catches. He's always been a big touchdown guy, though. Over the last 2 seasons, he's had 10 TDs each year, really close to, I believe. And that scares me with the new quarterback coming in because there's going to be some TD regression, some touchdown regression there. But we'll see what he does. We'll see what that suspension does, and we'll go from there. Honorable mentions in this receiving core: Jalen Naylor, Ty Felton, and Rondell Moore. I don't think anyone's interested in any of them for fantasy purposes, but nonetheless, they're on their squad. We go with the Divas because I want to move on.
Good with the
to
divas.
someone I'm very high on this year, and that
Okay.
is the tight end TJ Hockenson. You mentioned it a little bit earlier. He is projected tight end 5. Last year, he
Is it
finished
because
as
you both have long hair? Is that why?
he's a good looking hair kind of guy, but that is not why. I'll get into why in
Okay.
just a second. He finished his tight end 33 last year. He missed 7 weeks due to injury. He had to rebound from an ACL a year or two ago as well. His current ADP is 65 overall. Again, projected tight end 5. I love this cat. For a bounce back year. And I don't want to say he's a value pick, but I think he's a great pick and has easily ability to finish as a top 3 tight end. And let me tell you why. In college, JJ McCarthy, 2 of his top 4 targets were tight ends. Loveland had 45 catches and was his number 2 weapon in that Michigan offense. And then also we had AJ Barner, who was his number 4 target in that Michigan offense. So JJ McCarthy loves throwing the ball to the tight ends. And I know Michigan's offense is tailored to that with their multiple tight end sets and how they like to run the football. But nonetheless, I think Hockenson is going to be a security blanket all year long for McCarthy, which means I love Hockenson for both targets, volume, and just doing it big because McCarthy is going to need him because some of those outside routes are going to be tough to throw to, and he needs some time to vibe with Justin Jefferson. So I love Hockenson. He's a great pick. I think he can easily finish as a top 3 tight end this year, and that's what I'll say.
Yeah, you're really bullish on him. I mean, I think it's priced in. I liked everything you said, and I think I'm also forecasting a little bit of regression from the receivers for volume and touchdowns to go to him this year. And I can easily see this younger quarterback throwing him the ball and him just being, another year removed from a big injury, being more involved in the offense, a little more running, a little more play action, a little more getting it to the tight end. I just think that's how they're gonna go this year. Um,
Yeah.
I think a fifth tight end 5 though is having that priced in,
Okay. Do you see
right?
anyone outside of that top 5 in front of him, or anyone outside of the top 5 that you're taking in front of him?
No, I mean I think he's like in the Laporta. Him and Laporta are pretty close in the rankings. Obviously, we have our top 3 for tight ends, and
Yep.
then I'd like to reevaluate everything. But I see him at 5, and I'm fine with him at 5.
Okay. Okay.
And his ADP is 65th overall. So okay, so I just actually had a mock draft with these guys just to see, and Addison, Aaron Jones, and Hockenson all win in the 7th round of that mock. Uh,
Wow.
it was a standard scoring 10 team, one QB. So they're all around that area. I guess depending on roster construction, I'm probably honestly highest on him at ADP if I wanted to have a tight end there.
Yeah. Yep. I like that thought as well.
Okay. RBs. Aaron
Time to run the
Jones.
football. Yep.
Aaron Jones projected as RB 16 and finished as RB 16 last year. So exactly there. He had over 1,100 yards last year and
Phenomenal year.
50 grabs for another 400 yards. I mean, the guy is just one of the more underrated running backs year in and year out, in my opinion. He did it in Green
Yes, he
Bay.
is.
He did it in Minnesota. Like,
Yep.
he's just a baller. He can do it. With that being said, they have him for under 1,000 yards this season and a little bit of regression for yards through the air, just a little.
Mhm.
I just think it's going to be a little more balanced. I think they brought in Jordan Mason. I think they want to be like Detroit with this, 1-2 punch.
I would
Aaron
agree with you
Jones
there on this
isn't a
one.
guy who, you're going to pound through the tackles consistently. It's just not his strength. He can do it, yes,
Yep.
but he's better outside and he's better catching.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. Just to echo that, Aaron Jones, he's 30 years old, so he's not getting any younger. He's towards the end of his career. How much longer can he keep doing it? I guess we'll see. Obviously, Minnesota brought in Mason, and I think due to Mason's presence, I am trying to avoid both of these backs this year. RB 16 to have someone come in and carries are going to be split close to 50 to 50. I do not love that. I don't think he finishes within the top 16 like his projections are. He had some fumble issues last year. I believe he had about 4, I think 5 fumbles it was. Don't love that because if you're coughing the ball up and you have Jordan Mason right behind you, you're going to be yanked from the game. Now, I love Aaron Jones. The dude's fast as heck. The dude can break tackles. He's elusive. And where Aaron Jones' value lies is in PPR league because he can catch and run the ball so well. And he will be another security blanket for JJ McCarthy in this offense with dump downs. So I do like him there at PPR leagues. I think he's a good pick around there. Standard leagues, I'm not touching him for that point. That's 50 catches, 50 points right there that you're not going to see in standard. I keep on running, Aaron Jones. Love watching you in Green Bay. You're a fun player to watch. You're a great team guy. I love all that. But with Jordan Mason there, I think it's going to be too balanced and too split evenly.
Yeah, I think in PPR, this is 100% league settings for me for where I would like to draft these guys. PPR, yep. I'll take some shots on Aaron Jones if it fits and at the right price. I'm not going to reach for him. I think his ADP is probably fair. I don't know. We'll see on roster construction. Yeah. And then Jordan Mason, standard scoring. This is where I will take more shots probably on this entire team. Mm-hmm. I see it being a little more balanced in the run game. They went out to get him. And in standard scoring, I think he's going to be the goal line guy. I don't like the very hard strength of schedule. But I think they're going to want to try and run the ball more. And I think he's going to be the guy that just falls into the end zone a little bit more. And you can get him in like the 12th round. So I like the price there is what I like.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess here's the main thing I want to highlight. Is Aaron Jones a better, more proven back than Jordan Mason? Yes, absolutely. However, with him being projected at RB16 and Jordan Mason being projected at RB33, and we know it's going to be a relatively even split backfield, that just tells you that there's value in Jordan Mason at this RB33 overall, which is what I like most about him. He's 26 years old. Another thing I like most is his first year not playing behind the legendary CMC. He's been with San Fran behind the best running back in the NFL, or one of them, and he doesn't have that in his way anymore. He doesn't have that shadow over him. So I think this is his year to shine and really kind of break through a little bit. But again, it's going to be a split, but he has some value with where he's going in drafts for this split. And for ESPN projection Jones at 187 carries and Mason at 164 carries, yards 800 to 700. So it's pretty comparable, and the draft spot is not comparable at all. You can get him, 6 rounds later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and for me, again, standard scoring, I like Jordan Mason for value. I think he's going to get some of the touchdowns. PPR, he is much harder for me to draft because I don't think he's going to get hardly any catches.
Yep.
And last year with the 49ers, he averaged over 5 yards a clip. So I know that was Shanahan style 49ers football. So they got him projected for 4.6 this year. So I liked watching him run. We'll just have to see how he does on another team.
Yeah, absolutely. Last thing I want to say about Vikings have been running the ball more and more year over year, and I think with the new quarterback in the helm, they're going to have to run the ball even more, just like Michigan did, to allow him some play action and to keep defenses honest. So I do think this running team does get a lot of carries and a lot of volume this year.
Okay. So let's get into the coaching. Head coach Kevin O'Connell, who signed a multi-year extension earlier this year. He is kind of known as the quarterback whisperer. He's been praised for elevating Sam Darnold and this year guiding JJ McCarthy's progression. And the offensive coordinator with him, he's been there, Wes Phillips, the whole time. Kevin O'Connell still calls the plays. They like to do pre-snap motion, tempo, some misdirection, play action. This year, they are, from what we all see and hear, is they're trying to be a little more balanced, greater emphasis on run game with those 2 running backs that we talked about. And we just see a little bit of regression in the passing game. I mean, last year was a complete outperformance. I think they were the 6th overall through the air with Sam Darnold and those guys. So that's how we see it. Adam, you want to touch on this offensive line?
I sure do. Before last year, they were projected preseason ranked 12th. They finished the season at 14th offensive line. They kind of had an up and down year, and that's largely because I'll go left to right real quick. Left to right, Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, Ryan Kelly, Will Fries, and Brian O'Neill. But as I was saying, Christian Darrisaw, they're pretty solid left tackle. He tore his ACL and MCL in week 8 of last year, and the unit really struggled after that until Cam Robinson got up to speed. They brought in, so the outsides, left tackle and right tackle, if they're both healthy, they're going to be strong. Okay, I have no complaints to that. The interior of their line is really where the question marks lie. They brought in roughly 3 new guys between the draft and 2 guys from the Colts. Okay, so Ryan Kelly and Will Fries come over from Indianapolis at center and right guard. So there's two new guys in the interior. We don't know how they're going to vibe yet with this interior of the offensive line. But assuming both their tackles are healthy, the veterans on the outside, I think it's going to be a strong, good year for them. Another strong running campaign from these guys. So they got some new guys in the interior. Outsides are rock solid. We'll see how they do. We'll see if they can protect JJ McCarthy because they're going to have to.
Okay, so do you have a projected rank for this offensive line this year?
I think it's going to be right around 15 to 16.
Okay,
Just
so you
because
think a
they're
little bit
good
of
at running the
regression.
football, just a little bit because they're going to be good at running the football. But I think defenses are going to know they're going to have to run a little bit to get that play action for McCarthy, which is therefore going to just give them a little bit more trouble. And a new quarterback in there, that's always hurts an offensive line because he's not as quick to make decisions. He's got to read the defense a little bit longer, more sacks coming in, so on and so forth.
Oh, come on. Kevin O'Connell will get rid of that quick. He'll
He's
whip
a good
that guy
coach.
into shape.
He's a good
All right.
coach. I like McConnell.
Touch on the players. Adam mentioned those two offensive line. They also prioritized some trench reinforcement on their defensive line, Hargrave and Allen. Um, Adam mentioned Fries and Kelly on the offense on the interior of the line. And then Aaron Jones returns. And then also they traded for Jordan Mason, we talked about. And then really the big stuff is the departures of the quarterbacks that were there. Sam Darnold, Daniel Jones, Nick Mullins, all gone. It is 100% the JJ show. And we'll see what the guy can do. Draft
Yeah,
picks.
yeah, absolutely. Well, they only had, I believe it was 5 draft picks. In the first round, they went O-line with Donovan Jackson. Their third round pick was Ty Felton, who's a wide receiver out of Maryland. I do like this cat. I think it's going to take him a year or two to really kind of shine. But my God, working behind Justin Jefferson, there is no better, veteran to work behind and learn from. So I do think in a year or two, Ty Felton will be fantasy relevant. Outside of that, they went D-line in the 5th, linebacker in the 6th, and then a tight end, Gavin Bartholomew out of Pittsburgh in
Ooh,
round 6.
Bartholomew.
I know that was fun. It was fun to say as well.
I liked how you said that. It was cool. Yeah,
um,
and Ty Felton, I'm also high on in Minnesota. Just I think has a knack for picking rookie young receivers and making something of them. So I like him in dynasty formats. If there's a world where he's available in a dynasty league you're in, go scoop him up.
yeah, Dynasty. Love that thought. Love that insight there.
Adam,
Absolutely.
any final thoughts on the Queens fantasy football for this year?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a tough division. They got a new guy at the helm. We know Justin Jefferson's amazing. I mean, I think they're going to run the football more this year within that split backfield, which isn't always the greatest thing for fantasy purposes. One of those guys goes down, though. There's a ton of value in one of those running backs. That's about all I'll say in the Vikings. We'll see it twice this year against our Green Bay Packers, of course. Next episode, folks, we are going to the Mile High City and going over the Denver Broncos. So get ready for that one.
All right. Thank you for tuning in to the Fantasy Football channel. We hope the Packers crush the Queens in the division this year. But cheers to fantasy football. Peace.